In a dimly lit room filled with forgotten objects, Clara found herself staring at a clock that ticked backward. The hands spun wildly, and as they did, the room began to melt like wax under a flame. Suddenly, she was transported to a vast, swirling landscape where the sky was a kaleidoscope of colors and the ground undulated like the surface of a rippling sea. As she walked, she encountered a parade of mismatched creatures: a fish wearing a top hat, a rabbit juggling flaming carrots, and a man made entirely of paper. They beckoned her to join their celebration, and she felt an irresistible pull to dance with them. The music was a haunting melody that echoed from nowhere, yet it felt oddly familiar. In the midst of the revelry, a giant cat with fur like midnight appeared. It spoke in riddles, asking Clara to solve a puzzle before she could leave. "What has keys but opens no locks?" it purred, its eyes gleaming with mischief. Clara pondered, realizing it was a piano. As she answered, the ground trembled and the sky darkened momentarily. Suddenly, the scene shifted again. Clara found herself in a library filled with books that whispered secrets. She reached for one, and the pages opened to reveal a mirror. Gazing into it, she saw herself as a child, holding a crumpled piece of paper with a drawing of the giant cat. Before she could comprehend what it meant, the library vanished, replaced by a vast ocean. Clara was now floating on a piece of driftwood, surrounded by tiny, glowing fish that swam in spirals. They whispered her name, urging her to dive deep. Gathering her courage, she plunged into the water, where she discovered an underwater city made of coral and seashells, bustling with merfolk who looked up in surprise. One mermaid with shimmering scales swam to Clara and handed her a pearl that pulsed with light. "This is your truth," she said, "but you must decide whether to keep it or share it." Clara hesitated, feeling its warmth against her palm, but before she could respond, the water began to rise, pulling her back toward the surface. With a gasp, she awoke in her bed, the morning sun streaming through the window. The clock on her bedside table ticked normally, but in her hand, she clutched the pearl from her dream. Its light flickered softly, and she knew that her strange journey had only just begun.